The first step you can focus on to get you away from an all or nothing mentality around food and exercise is realising that you can start again with every breath. So this comes from the idea of people thinking that their diet has to be absolutely perfect to make progress. Now there's no such thing as a perfect diet, and when we set ourselves up for that, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And what happens is when your day doesn't go to plan, because we are all human, and you have something that's not in your perfect diet, you think that you've stuffed it and you may as well jump right in the stuff it bucket, which leads to overeating, feelings of shame, guilt, low mood, and setting ourselves backwards. What then also happens is people, when they're in the stuff it bucket, they think, well, there's no point in making any change today, so I'll wait till tomorrow, or worse, I'll start again on Monday. This could be Tuesday, so you're giving yourself a full 6 days before you start again. If you can realise that you can start again with every breath, this allows you to move away from the all or nothing mentality with food and start to adopt this always something mentality that we talk about here at 365 Female. So rather than thinking about you have to do absolutely everything to make progress, if you realise that you can do just something, what's the one thing you can do that's going to help you feel better? So maybe your day's not went to plan. Maybe you've completely overeaten on biscuits, crisps, cakes, not had any, quality nutrition, but you can still go for a walk. Or do you know what? At dinner time, you can still eat some vegetables as well as the rest of your meal. And this really, really helps you start to change your mindset on having no more idea of perfectionism. There is no such thing. Just always something. What can you do to keep putting one foot in front of the other? Because you are only one decision away from a completely different life. So rather than wait until tomorrow, or rather than waiting to start again on Monday, what's the one thing you can do right now that's going to help you put one foot in front of the other? Because that is absolutely all we need to keep progressing forward. Top tip number 2 to help improve your relationship with food and to help you move away from that all or nothing mentality, and it's one of my favourites that's changed my life and many of our 365 females that we've worked with, is we don't care if you've went over in your calorie goal for the day, still eat your dinner or your lunch. Now this comes from years of people doing online coaching programs and maybe being told stick to your calorie goal and you will lose body fat. But if they've found themselves maybe mindlessly snacking throughout the day, it gets to dinner time and they've tracked all their calories but there's no calories left for dinner. What they'll find is people say, stick to the calorie goal, you'll still lose body fat. So they'll skip their dinner because they believe, I just need to stick to this. But if you find that you have a poor relationship with food, actually what's needing to be rebuilt first is your mindset around it before you worry about losing body fat. And this is one of the best tools you can use. So if you find yourself, like I just spoke about there, mindlessly snacking throughout the day, calories are gone, still have your dinner. I promise that you will actually find yourself in a better routine, because one way to help get out of that binge restrict cycle that I know thousands of people struggle with is to eat regularly, regardless of the calories. We would actually advise not looking at calories if you are struggling with this, but if it is something that you want to track your calories, we say we don't care if you go over. That is the least of our worries. Which is more important is you rebuilding a routine with food, which is going to help you feel happier, feel healthier, because we know from being in this binge restrict cycle ourselves, these leave you with feelings of guilt, shame, low mood, and you feel unsuccessful because you feel like you can't stick to a routine of eating 3 to 4 meals, because you're binging and then you're restricting, and that's what happens. So if you find that at any time maybe you've went over in your calories, avoid trying to pull back the next day. A lot of the time people say, I'll just skip breakfast because I overate yesterday. But what happens? You're going to be hungry. You'll start mindlessly snacking again, and that routine is very hard to get out of. So that is one of my absolutely favourite tips that you can start to do. Who cares about that calorie goal, really? If you want to try and rebuild your relationship with food, this is way more important. Eat your dinner regardless of the calories. Step number 3 to help you improve your relationship with food, and this ties in with exercise as well. Avoid looking at exercise as a way to burn off calories. This is something that many people do, and actually it's directly linked to disordered eating habits. When we're looking at burning off food that we've eaten, this is a way of compensating for food. So we want to try and stay away from these habits as much as possible. Top tip, if you are finding that you're doing this at the moment, maybe looking at your watch saying, how much have I burned? I've not burned enough yet. I've got to burn off that meal. I would say take your watch off, because we want to start looking at exercise as a way of self-care. Think about it as medicine for your mind. You know, you're looking after your body. Think about it for your old lady body. And there's a little quote that I love: you'd rather be the oldest person in the gym than the youngest person in the care home. If we can start looking at exercise as a way to be strong, to feel empowered, to live a long, happy, healthy life, so much more rewarding than using it as a way to burn off calories that you've eaten.